I'm Israeli, but during the last 5 years, I've been based out of Thailand. 3 years ago, I got a call from CEO of a bank. It's the SCB Bank, Siam Commercial Bank. It's the oldest bank of Thailand since 1905. We are a public company, but the majority owned still by the king. And the CEO told me, we want to change. We want to change from a bank to be a FinTech group. And, I talked to many, not many, but some CEOs, bank CEOs in my life, and most of them talked about technology, about AI, about transformation, but not many of them ever did something about it, because doing such a change is a risk, and this person is and was bold, and I said, okay, so what about me? Why talk to me? He said, we believe that data and AI will be the engine of this new transformation, and I want you as part of the team. And we are talking 3 years ago, a bit more, in fact. So this was before Gen AI, before ChatGPT, which happened more than a year later. And I want to talk a bit about how to do it, and where did I lose my hair, in fact. So we are talking about AI in a very exciting words, but I will try also to put some kind of grain of salt on challenges, on where we are going forward. Hopefully, you will learn from what I learned myself. So I will talk a bit about my AI journey, which is very long, but I will do it shortly. Then talk a bit about the motivation, why a bank wants to be a FinTech group in Thailand. I know that Thailand today is about 70 million persons, so it's a completely different scale of magnitude, but I think that we share a lot of, or the population shares a lot of the common of, access to finance. So we'll tell about the motivation. Then I will talk about the challenges and some ways we found that were effective to solve them. And then I will talk about how do I see, the future and the challenges in front of us. So I'm very old, so this is my career. But I wanted to put on my career, in fact, 4 big disruptions that changed the customer life. The first one is the PC, which happened with the first IBM PC going to the market. Again, computers existed since the late 40s, but when IBM came with the PC and this technology was accessible to people, it made a disruption. The old people of you, were working with papers, with typewriters, with people getting commands, and suddenly, the computer was in our hands. The next thing that happened is, sorry. The next thing that happened is internet and mobility. So we had computers, we could store our data. The next thing that was missing was communication. So internet came, mobile phones came, but mobiles, had to wait some 10 years to become smartphone. And now we are talking about AI, and in each one of these changes, we could not really imagine, how it will impact our lives. So, we need to be humble, we are excited, but still things to see. We can see that every 12 to 15 years there is such disruption, and the key thing is that when the thing is accessible. AI is, since the late 60s, is on the table, but until someone gave you a ChatGPT that you can give a prompt and get something, it was science, it existed, it was powerful, but not there. So just in a brief about myself, I started my journey somewhere in '87. I went by mistake to listen to a seminar in Jerusalem. I was a master's degree student still in the army, and then those guys talked about neural networks. It was a combination of hallucinating people, one biologist, one physicist, one mathematics, and this thing, excited me because, I was a computer science guy, and suddenly think about, how my brain functions. So I decided to go there. It was just, in fact, before the second winter of AI, but never mind. Then my PhD was, in fact, on pattern recognition, things that are today like toy games for data scientists, because the main thing that happened that was here, we didn't have data. And we needed all those transformation of getting Facebook and getting videos and getting photos. All those things, were necessary, but they did not exist at that time. The second thing that was necessary was compute power. So NVIDIA was born over here, and the cloud was also born around this time. So people understood that, it doesn't need to happen on your machine, it can happen somewhere else. And AWS came later. So this was the second component that was missing and came in. The third one is the open source. In my time, people, when they got a task, they had to program. Today, they go first to the internet and look for code to cut and paste, or nowadays they will use a co-pilot and ask him to write the code for them. So these key things were missing, and now we have them. And the other things that happened was on the capabilities, because over here we could not build complex model. We didn't have enough data, so we cannot build a big model. Now that we have compute and we have data, we could process a lot of things. And really the disruption happened here in 2016. There is a real competition in a conference, which is called ICPR, to analyze images. And this was the first time that a computer could analyze images better than human. And the second thing happened here after attention model, etc., but I will not go into it. So I will focus on this part of my career, which is SCB DataX. Just a remark before the AI storm, which started in 2022 with ChatGPT, in fact, all those barriers of recognizing object, understanding speech, translating, all those were achieved by a machine, and it in fact gave justification for what we call AI to be called AI. Before we were too humble to do it, because AI is something, the definition of AI is if you sit and you have a curtain and you don't know what's behind the curtain, and you exchange information and you cannot decide if there is a guy behind the curtain or machine, and if there is a machine, this machine is an AI. It can imitate a person, and this happened. So going back to the transformation of the bank to a FinTech group, the first motivation was to look around and to see that there are all those FinTech that coming, they are more agile, they are in some cases even avoiding part of the regulation, they're coming into your market, they're equipped with technology, with agility, and a bank is still a profitable business, and it will stay a profitable business for many years, but growth will not come if the mindset and the way we work change. The second thing was also it was the late days of COVID. The poor population was hit more than the wealthiest one, and this population required financing in the same way that, you're talking here in India. Still, a bank is under regulation, has a very conservative risk appetite, and it could not do it by itself. It needed to spin off some businesses, to start new businesses in order to take more risk and in a different way. And last but not least is concern about the environment, the population, the good of society, which is a business opportunity, but also something that we felt we need to invest in. So the three things that we look at is to go beyond banking, not to do just banking, to be customer-focused, and also we are talking about things which are more general, not just Thailand, and there are different plans to go beyond, and some of them are executed already, so there is the financial side is behind it. The translation was to 5 strategic themes. First is to make a better bank, to make it digital more, to have better loan books, etc. The second pillar is, in fact, creating all kinds of companies that will give financial services, and many of them are doing loans. So each one has his own flavor. We are talking about auto loans in similar ways, like here, you come with a motorcycle or with your car to a branch, you get an evaluation, you get some loan offer based on this evaluation, and you have to leave your title in the shop and walk away with the money. We have companies that ask you to download the application to your mobile to get the loan and ask you for permission to look around. So they will look if you have astrology application, if you have gambling application, they can look in your contacts, and then they will decide, what is the risk with you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We have even a company which is called AlphaX, which is for the rich population. You can get a loan to buy a Porsche or to buy a yacht or whatever. The third pillar is the thing which is more, let's say, innovative or forward-looking. So there is a part that is looking into commerce, marketplaces, partnership with other vendors of selling, using points, etc. There is companies that are dealing with blockchain, Bitcoin. There is a venture arm that invests money in companies. AI is one of their key investment. And there is the climate tech, and which I will not touch much on this discussion. Supporting all this, there are 2 key companies. One is TechX, which enables all those startups to grow, enables them not to hire technological people. You need to build something, I will build it for you. You need to run something, I will run it for you. And last but not least is DataX, which is the company I started. And DataX is the data and AI company, which I will talk more later. So the envision was to really to be AI first organization, a group. And the ambition was to, in 4 years, to create 75% of our revenue AI-enabled. Okay, so this was put to all those CEOs in front of them and as a KPI. So do whatever you want, but it will be part of your bonus. And there were some stages in between. Now, in order to succeed, one thing was to create a good data foundation. This is DataX. We also felt that we need some strong partners. So we are Microsoft. Is a big partner of us. We are the biggest Microsoft customer in Thailand. Databricks is the same, and we have few others. again, we needed them, we need to make a bet on those partners, to get supported and to invest in our technology. The third pillar is doing research by our own, because it was even pre the Gen AI thing, and we understood that if we don't have our own research, we need it for being localized for Thailand on one hand. On the other hand, we need to be on top of things, otherwise we will be lagging. Examples of that, we have a long partnership with Stanford University. So we are doing research with them, for example, on hallucinations and other things. The other thing I wanted to mention is Typhoon. Typhoon is, we built our own LLM. So we started by really building LLM from scratch. It was before the Gen AI explosion. But the need was because our language is different. Text in Thai doesn't have spaces. So the tokenizers of the conventional LLMs will not know how to split it and to create the tokens. And we were experimenting with the first versions of OpenAI. Normally, a token is a word in English. In our case, it was 2 tokens per letter, because you didn't know how to do it. So for sure, it was not good, but also too expensive. We cannot use it because you pay by token, so we did our own. And other things, we have an AI literacy program. Each one of us, from the teller to the CEO, needs to pass AI course, and it's a plan that over a few years, but 5% of my yearly evaluation is yes or no. You finished your courses, you have certification, and this is, you have to do it, you have to understand. If you are an expert, you can go immediately to the test. If not, you have to learn. And then we created some kinds of a champions program that are doing experiments. Each department in an organization of 30,000 people have champions, and they have to come once a week and show what they did. So this is enforcing for things to happen. This is the mission. I will skip it for now. And maybe, let me see if I can... there is a video here. Can you click it? Never, no. There is a video, but about the company and how we created. At the end of the day, we have today a core data and AI platform. It's 6.5 petabyte. I don't know how big is it for India, but if you take the biggest library in the world of the Congress and you put it on disk, it will be 3 times bigger than what we have. And the different companies, in fact, around us, each one of them get his lake, his data warehouse, his data science environment. So each one has his own private area. But one of the things that was behind all this transformation is to be able to share data. So there is also a place where we merge this data and we share, insight on top of the data. So I will skip that because the guy before us talked about it. I will move to the challenges in doing that. First challenge is data sharing and monetization. So the companies that had a lot of data didn't want to share it, or they said, I worked very hard to obtain this data, what do I get from it? Second thing is legal and compliance. I don't know how the law in India, but 6 months after we started the company, there was a PDPA Act in Thailand by the Bank of Thailand. It's based on the GDPR. The main difference is that in Thailand, it's not just fines, it's also, you can go to jail, but hopefully we will not get there. So privacy became a big thing. And And this was something that, we want to share information, but we need to hide the private information when we share it back to those that don't own it. We need to make sure that everyone that gets into contact with each one of those companies give consent to use this data. Collaboration and adoption, again, you may feel it in one organization, but we have now 20 companies. Each one has people, business owners. Many of them have data scientists because, the bank is there with data science for many years. And the question is, how to create synergy, how to make people want to really to be part of this transformation. Third, the next one is processes. Processes cannot stay the same. When you want to launch a model in a bank, you have like an MRM process, model risk management process. You have to come with your Excels, show that you studied the model. If there is an error of this amount, this will be the impact or loss. It can take between 2 months to 6 months to pass this process, going back and forth, bringing more numbers. This, if you want to be agile, you cannot work with that, and this needed to change. Tech and innovation, we had the challenge of building a platform that can serve all kinds of companies. One is a bank with 25,000 people. Another one is a startup of 10 people. So how do we do it in a scale, an economic way? Last but not least is culture. Thai people are shy. Thai people don't like to fail. Okay, so, I had cases in my previous work in Thailand that a guy resigned and we didn't understand why. And in fact, he got some task, he couldn't do it. He was too shy to go to someone superior to say, it's not working, can you help me? It's a matter of culture. There's a lot of distance, a lot of relationship with the manager is telling you what to do and then blaming you if it did not work. So this, of course, cannot work with AI. AI is all about failing. You build something, it works in some way, you want to improve it, and it's a cycle, and you need to fail. If you didn't fail, probably it didn't work yesterday. So some of the things that we did is, for the data sharing, in fact, the only way we went through a lot of discussion of, what is the value of data? If I give you this data, is it the same value of this data? Some data is worth more money or less money. We couldn't come to an agreement between 20 CEOs, so at the end, the group take ownership and said, your data is my data, you give it, and that's it. So it needs to be imposed. Then people came with saying, this is my secret source. I created scores. I don't want to share it because the other guy is also giving loans. We are competing with each other. Or I have this contract with another company, and it says that the data is not to be shared. So a lot of legal complications that were brought up by those that didn't want to share data. And again, the approach was blacklist. If you don't want to share, you need to come with your claim to a committee. We created a CEO-level governance committee to solve all these problems. It became a huge problem that I think people did not think about it before the transformation. And last but not least was to create really a data governance across the group. Because we are collecting the information, new information is being created. So we did a big project with the Informatica, and in fact, we deployed the same tool across the whole group. We took the ownership. And now if something happens in one company, and we know about it, and everything is documented, automated, etc. For the legal, again, the group had to take initiative and to step in, and because we started as a startup, we are now 300 people, but we started as 50, and we could not deal with the legal of the bank and credit card company, etc. So the group stepped in. We had to set up a very large risk unit. Again, it's not just privacy, it's also security, it's also model risk. So, when I was depicting to the CEO my idea how to create this company, I came from the tech industry, and I put 3 people on risk because I know that there is such thing that is called risk. Today, I think the number is more of 40 plus, so I learned something. The technology side of, we also looked for doing things that can help us with the law. So on one hand, we are doing a lot of anonymization, so I can use data, anonymized data, in order to learn from data coming from different sources. And we also did a lot of innovation. We do, for example, something that is called federated learning. So let's say that 2 companies has a credit risk model. We in fact, build a 3rd one on top of there and then share it back to them, so each one of them have a better model by itself. So we use their credit models in order to create a better credit model in using more data. Next is about collaboration and adoption. So one strong thing was that the group said, it's your KPI to show me that you use AI, so this was really enforcement. We had to identify also common pain points across companies to solve them. So for example, many of them are lending, so collection was the biggest pain point of some of them. So we went focusing on things that can serve many of the companies. We created an innovation lab, a place where people can come with their problems, and they get free service to solve them. So they get our data scientists, designers, and they can come, ideate, and solve their problems. We did a lot of POCs, free of charge to them, and we created the communities across the group. And also, we are creating competition. We have AI battles. The companies come to this battle with their innovation, and it's being recognized. For processes, I will skip it. It's a long story. Tech, we decided to be cloud only from the first place. We are, as I said, the biggest clients of Microsoft Azure. We were able to create a modular architecture that can be scaled, but also you could select, say, I'm not interested in this component or that component. This was a big effort. Our approach was to buy, not to build. Although, the big SIs we worked were not there, but we had to stop them on many cases. We invest in AI for good. So we are looking at things which are outside our scope, like predicting floods, which is not directly to us, but we have the capability to do it. And last but not least, about culture. So I try to impose diversity by recruiting expats. It's not easy. On the other hand, in order to break this line of reporting, we created a very flat organization. We have just 3 levels. You have staff, you have manager, and you have executive, and that's it. And a lot of the things that needed tooling, in fact, because the culture is not transparent. So you don't know where things are not there. So we had really to engage. We deployed the Monday.com, which is and everyone needs to. At the end of the day, we know what happened everywhere, and of course, last but not least, is to do experimentation so people will learn that they should fail. And you come to a meeting, you should say what you experimented. If you didn't experiment, this is your failure. If you did and it didn't work, that's okay. Some of the examples of things we do, so a lot around lending, similar to what we had here. We are a big users of Microsoft Copilot. So we are doing a lot of projects with Copilots, and software development is really one of the key ones. So having a coding assistant. We have all kinds of projects around customers and employee service. You know, service is the natural things for bots, but we are doing things to support our employees. For example, if I had some questions about HR, I get it from a bot. If I'm an investment agent, I get advice from a bot about things that may be relevant to my investment client. And we are doing things also around audit. For example, the company that is giving auto loans, all the calls are being recorded and all the discussions. And the regulator came and said, you have to check each one of them that 7 things were said. This is the amount, this is the monthly return, it's revolving. There are 7 things that need to be mentioned. AI can do it. So we are taking the voice, translating it to text, and then the AI goes on those calls and say, this is compliant, this is not compliant, and the non-compliant get verified. So a few words about what next, and again, some of it is my personal view. One thing is we need to invest dearly in security. I will not go into this diagram, but there are about 10,000 AIs over there on the web. And the numbers is growing every day by hundreds, and it will keep growing. Now, we want to enable each of our employees to benefit from that, but this comes with a risk. So protecting the browser of our employees is something that we need to do, again, to secure innovation, not to block everything. You know, the basic security will say, OpenAI, don't use it because you may upload information asking for analysis, whatever. Second thing is developers. Developers are also using AIs in their copilots or using it in their application now. We need to protect them. And at the end of the day, we need to protect the application itself, you know, from jailbreak, from discussion which are not appropriate. So this is it's a big thing. There is a lot, you know, the bad guys are always in front of us. We have to chase them. So we are investing a lot in that. And what else? So the adoption, of course, we build many things, but adoption is still not as much as we want. And our plan is also to go outside the group, so provide some of our services and capabilities outside the group. Trustworthy AI, which include security, bias, and all the things that the previous person discussed about, is another area where we need to act as the one that serves a FinTech group. And the other one is the agentic AI that everybody talks about. So in fact, until now, we discuss with some kind of a bot. We ask to get information, we get it back. The next thing that will happen is that these bots will go and do something, and they will be proactive. And they will meet on the other side other bots, and they need to negotiate. And they will go into different APIs. So it's something to work on, but also to be careful about it. And of course, you know, where do I get the data that will make my thing differentiate? And data is important, and data also becomes more and more hard to get because of privacy, because of all those laws that try to protect the consumer. And we had many of those collaborations where at the end we could say, no, we could not do it because of that. Before I finished where we are with the intelligence, people say that, soon the artificial intelligence will be like us. What you see on the left is there is this website that you can go and check. They do IQ tests for the LLMs. So they take all the leading LLMs and they pass them IQ. So you can see that if the average is around 100, many of them they're hidden here, they're getting there. 01, which is the latest, is already a genius. If you go under the hood, the worry here is because these things are crunching all the information out there, and there was a risk that they also learn those questions and answer, so they are prepared for the test. So they created an offline test that is not on the internet. And the reality is that it's less than what we see here. So 01 preview is an average human, is 97. The others are less than that. Now, the other thing we can see is they are very good coders. They get in coding exams 94%, which is really an excellent score. On all the other fronts, they are very medium. Okay, so at the end of the day, what we have today is an average worker is super motivated. He never gets tired, but it's an average idiot. So from an augmentation point, I don't know how to draw. So I can ask this thing to draw, and he will go do a good artwork for me. So it's a great effort, but we are still missing the ingenuity. The ingenuity is not there. And so we are not yet at the end of the game. The other thing that we see also is that all those models are converging to the 70% level. So really to go beyond, there need to be some disruption. LLM is getting to its maximum, which is good, but still not there. So really, I want to leave you for 3 points as my last slide. First one is I was very happy to see that you are using AI here in order to create business. What I see in many places is organizations are trying to reduce cost, to replace service, to do things faster, to spend less. On the other side, we have to think that the customer is getting more empowered than us. If I want today I wanted to come, I was invited to speak, I needed health insurance for travel. So I did not go to the web, start looking. I just opened one of those AI, and I said, I'm going to India for 4 days. Important for me is health insurance, less important for me, luggage insurance, whatever, delay or whatever. Give me 3 options and explain to me the pros and cons of each one of them. And then he gave me the option, he gave me explanation, he gave me the links, and I did it. So the same thing will happen to loans. The same thing can happen for everything that the customer needs. So the customer is benefiting currently even more than us from that, and we need to be aware of that. And really, the thing that the financial institution should think is, what is the killer app for us? What is the thing that will make us different? Because in some way, financial institutions are some kind of an infrastructure. But really the interesting things, when the internet was created, it was created, but the real business came when Netflix came and started to stream movies, YouTube came, social network, they were the ones that created the business, in fact, on top of the infrastructure. So the question is, with this Gen AI, what will be the killer apps for our consumers? And the last point, I already said that we should expect some algorithmic disruption that will take us to the next stage beyond LLMs. So I used more of my time, but thank you very much. And it's an exciting moment to live in.